Hey, this is RJ May, and you're watching Mr. Mario 2011.
Hey, so what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and what you're seeing on screen right now is Watch Dogs, and I have to say, I'm actually really liking this game now. I've come back to it, I've been playing it, and now it's getting to the point I kind of have to force myself off of it, because I'm spending too much time on it sometimes. Like, actually, while I'm recording it right now, I've had a decent-sized headache for the past few hours. I just got back home and everything, and I probably know why. It was because last night, I stayed up a bit too late playing Watch Dogs, because I said, oh, I'm going to do one more mission. Well, I'm going to do one more mission. Well, I'm one more mission away from beating this act. Well, let's see what Act 3 is about. And then, when I saw I was way too tired to process how to beat a puzzle, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go to sleep now, and by then it was too late for me already, so I'm suffering the consequences from liking this game. But anyways, this was not always the case with Watch Dogs, and that is what's leading into this commentary. This commentary is really gonna be about, I guess, if games that are lackluster or overhyped can get better later on, and there are several varying instances of how this could happen, why it might happen, things like that, and Watch Dogs is one big one. So, in case you don't know, Watch Dogs came out the summer of 2014. Or no, 2013, my bad, because we just, we're in 2015 right now. Well, no, that would have been summer. Okay, I'm just rambling on right now. So it would have been summer of 2014 it came out. This game had a lot of hype around it. It was supposed to be the first, true next-gen gaming experience, and it was even delayed by 6 months after firing shots at Grand Theft Auto 5. In case you don't know, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in September. Watch Dogs was supposed to come out in November of 2013 with the new consoles, and they issued out an ad saying something along the lines of, 2 months is enough time to be in Los Santos. Well, one, it's definitely not enough time because I'm still loving Grand Theft Auto 5, and two, this kind of blew up back in their faces because a few weeks prior to the PS4 and Xbox One launches, as well as the simultaneous Watch Dogs launch, they ended up delaying the game for 6 months. So it finally came out in May, and what we got was pretty lackluster to, to be nice about it. First off, the game did not look as good as it was supposed to and what was slated and what was shown to us, so this was looked at as false advertising. However, at the same time, playing devil's advocate here, alphas and betas are not proper representations of final builds of games. Okay, I understand that. Then, in addition to that, they had just other things where it just seemed it wasn't interesting enough. To many people, wasn't that interesting. The driving mechanics sucked on there. There was not many good things to be said about this game. It was also locked at 30 frames per second unless you played it on PC. But one big thing, if you played it on PC, it also did not look that good on there either. And a lot of people were saying, my PC can definitely handle, the game if it was shown at the E3 build. And this brought in a whole big parity thing. And in case you don't know, parity is essentially leveling the playing field. People believe that they made the PC version of Watch Dogs look worse, so it would look about equivalent to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions of it. And this is even further backed with, by the time, the game came out and there had been a few days where people had looked into, the in-game files and modders had started issuing mods and all that for it. There were actually the original E3 shaders and textures buried in the game. I mean, they were even called E3. It had E3 and E3 2012 in the name. So the original things were there. And the funny thing was, many people experienced something really funny too. In addition to this, if they used this mod that ended up unlocking these E3 textures and shaders and lightings, guess what? For most people, the game actually ran better with the better looking textures and all that, with the stuff that wasn't supposed to be accessed, with the stuff that, was a little too advanced, is what Ubisoft, I guess, would have said. I don't know if they really formally addressed or if they kind of just beat around the bush with it, but what I'm trying to say is people were able to make the game look much better and, at the same time, make it play much better. It was actually more optimized with the old shaders that looked better than the new shaders and the new textures that didn't look as good. So this game kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. I played it, it wasn't that interesting, the driving sucked on there, I wasn't too crazy about the character, the storyline seemed bland, and then, all the stuff going on with Ubisoft, with the parity, with frame rate locking, with locking away the shaders, dealing with Uplay on PC, all that stuff, I can go on and on. It soured the game for me. In fact, I had it on PC, I was playing it, and then I just kind of stopped. There wasn't really a reason for me to play it. I didn't really go back to it. But you know what? Recently, I ended up trading it. I used Leap Trade to trade games on. I swear I'm not plugging them or anything. I'm not sponsored by them. It'd be cool to be sponsored by them, but I'm not. But pretty much what ended up happening was I was using Leap Trade to trade and sell my games, and I ended up getting Watch Dogs off a trade for PS4. So I picked it back up, and I said, you know what, I'll give this game a fair second chance. It's been about a year. So what I did was the first few nights, I was just kind of wanting something to play. So I was watching YouTube videos, and I was going around and unlocking and hacking all the CTOS towers. This gave me also a nice advantage because, one, I had the whole city unlocked on the map, and two, I was able to go into the game with a decently leveled up character. So I trudged through the first act of the game, and it was not that good. But then, when the second act came around, the game started catching my attention, really catching my attention. And I even told a friend today, I said, you know, I'm really liking this game now. Like, it has a lot of things I like. It's a open world game. You can really do kind of what you want to on there. There's a lot of things that you can drive, a lot of things that you could do, lots of places that you can explore. The main character is I guess you could call him a gray hat hacker, somewhere in between. It has to do a lot with computers. It deals with all that. The music is great on there. You got a lot of old school and new school Chicago gangsters. It takes place in Chicago. Lots of rap in there as well, too. So I told my friend, I said, I'm really liking this game now. I'm kind of disappointed that I brushed it off so early on. But of course, you know, it was really lackluster dealing with all that. And the hype behind it and then all the controversies behind it just really brought down the game. And I want to know if there's any other games like this, like that happened with you all. Because another game that I could think of that was like that, I have a bad issue where I play a game for a little bit, and if it doesn't entice me within the first 20 or 30 minutes, I just stop playing it, which Watch Dogs is like that. Definitely had a slow start, but now it's getting really good to the point where I know I'm going to finish this game. But another game that was like that, which I didn't play it at release, but I played it a few years later, was Jericho. This game came out on PS3, 360, and I believe PC. It came out on PC. And this was a horror-style first-person shooter game. It wasn't really that scary or anything, but it was very bloody, very gory. And there were a lot of things that it was like. I mean, it was a basic game, basic first-person shooter. It looked alright. And one big thing, if you played it on consoles, it did not have any vibration on it, which was kind of annoying. It felt like you weren't really, you know, getting the full extent of shooting a gun whenever you shot a gun. But this game got horrible review scores, like horrible review scores. And there was one time I remember I was reading about it in Game Informer, and they kind of gave it a second glance over. And they said, you know, it probably shouldn't have gotten that low of review scores. But you gotta think of it like this. It came out at around the same time Halo 3 and Call of Duty 4 were released, which these two are huge first-person shooters, some groundbreaking first-person shooters, and some of the best first-person shooters of all time. I mean, people think, in the Halo series, people say that Halo 2 or Halo 3, people fight between which Halo is the best, but a lot of people say Halo 3 is the best one. The Call of Duty series, I myself and many others believe Call of Duty 4 is the best one in the series. So these are two legendary games that came out around the same time. And then you throw Jericho in there. It didn't have multiplayer. It didn't even have, you know, vibration feedback on the guns or anything like that. There was nothing really going for it. It was a new IP. It didn't have a backstory. It wasn't like Call of Duty or Halo or anything like that where there were already, you know, sequels on it. It didn't do very well. It didn't fare out very well, and that is a game I would like a sequel to. If there was a sequel, I would definitely play it. Watch Dogs, I gotta play the DLC for it. I actually got the DLC because it was on sale, but I got it, and I don't know if that'll expand on it at all. But, you know, nobody spoil it for me, please, because I'm still in the process of playing it. Anyways, as I said, I'd like to know, are there any games that are like that with you all, that you all have the same thing, where, you know, you play it and you just hated it, and then you come back later and you're like, this game is actually really damn good? Or, you know, any games that are like that where you realize they're great, and it was just after, you know, all the hypes and controversies passed after them. There's some games, though. Some games. No matter how much time passes, no matter what happens, you know, in the world of hype and controversy, they will never be good. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario, signing off. Thank you for watching, everyone.